Hey everybody, it's Dan here from EvolvingSEO, and I'm doing a guest post for Mike King, I Pull Rank, and I'm a little short on time at the moment, so I thought I'd do a video because I can probably do a post that's a video a lot quicker than I can write it out and do screenshots and all that. So I asked you guys earlier on Twitter this morning, thanks for responding, what you would like to hear about, and the overwhelming majority of people wanted to hear a little bit more about entity search results. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm going to try to not say sorry. Folks like Bill Slosky and Justin Briggs probably know a lot more about this than I do, and they've done a really fantastic job at sort of promoting what entity search is, and I highly encourage that you go to both their websites, SEO by the Sea, and I believe it's just justinbriggs.com. I'll include links below. And check out, because I've learned pretty much everything about this stuff from the resources and the research that they've done. And I really feel strongly that entity search is going to be more and more important as we move forward with SEO. So that's why I'm really excited that you guys wanted to hear about that today. So the first question would be, what is entity search? And I can answer that by starting to answer what is an entity and what Google thinks an entity is. And basically what they think an entity is anything that kind of exists in real life. So it could be a brand or a company, it could be an author, some type of person, or an actor, and it could be a movie. So any of these things that actually exist in real life. And then all of these entities have attributes that are attached to them. So for example, an actor has a date of birth, it has possibly a date of death if they're deceased, it has a place of birth, they have all the films that they've acted in, maybe the style or the genre of film. So these are all attributes that are attached to entities. And where is Google getting this information? So there's a few main sources that Google is getting this from, and namely that would be places like Freebase, Wikipedia, the IMDb, for movie results. Some of you may have seen my comparison of Bing and Google with some natural text movie searches. We're going to get to that in a second. So Google is taking these high authority places that aggregate data and kind of compiling them into their own table and their own set of data to help them understand more about these entities. And then where do you actually see them in search results? Well, there's a few places. So if you do a question search in Google, so for example, earlier today I tried, when was Stevie Wonder born? If you type that into Google, it will actually respond as an answer. It knows that you're asking that as a question. And that is an entity type result. Stevie Wonder is a person, an attribute is he's a musician, they have the date of birth for him, so it's answering that question. And then next, I suspect that they're probably using entity type things when we run the related advanced search operator, which I did a post about a few months ago. And that's just my sense. I haven't done a whole lot of research into this, but I suspect that sites that, first of all, you can run the related search operator on are there's probably some entity detection going on there. And the results that you get are probably based upon they're relating, what are the attributes of that entity that you're searching for to give you the results, to tell you what's related. And then another place that Bill Slosky had mentioned to me that they are using entity search results is what's called an implied site search. I hope you guys like my pink marker. It's the only color I had today. So the implied site search, for example, would be, as you know, they have the site search operator, which is site:facebook.com. And that will return results from only that domain, as you know. But there was a patent filed that Bill Slosky pointed out to me. I hope I'm saying your last name correct, Bill. And I really appreciate all the information you give me, by the way. But anyways, back to the point. If you just type Facebook space Stevie Wonder, I just did this today as well, you'll notice the first 8 results, I think it is, are all on the facebook.com domain. And what that is Google is actually rewriting, or it's believed to be, according to the patent, that they're rewriting your query as a site colon facebook.com Stevie Wonder query. And that's how it's returning the first 8 results, all from Facebook. And then a few other examples of this. Bill also points out that if you type in Space Needle hours, you get the first three or four results, I believe, are from spaceneedle.com, and that's that big landmark in Seattle that I hope to see one day. And also, what's happening here is they're detecting that you're probably searching for that real-life object, the Space Needle. They attach that to the domain, spaceneedle.com, and then they're returning results for you from those first 4 results from spaceneedle.com. And then the last example of this is from the post that I did about the search for fave. And some of you may have seen this. And what Bill also pointed out to me, what's probably happening in that search, this goes a little bit more in depth than what I covered in my post, is what's happening probably is we start to type fave in Google. If you notice in Google Instant down below, it actually is returning facebook.com with all the site links below it as I'm typing the word fave. But when I hit enter, right? When I hit enter, that result changes to the facebook.com / the fave Hoboken or whatever it was, that page from the band. And what Bill thinks is happening, and I tend to agree with him, is that basically 2 algorithms are colliding here. So we type in fave, and Google spell corrects that for us and assumes that we mean Facebook, like we've started to type Facebook. But then at the same time, Google basically thinks that we're trying to do a site search, an implied site search for facebook.com space fave. So it's actually returning very similar results. If you were to type Facebook fave into Google, I really apologize if you can't read the board. This is definitely not as well equipped as SEO Moz, and I'm definitely not trying to copy Whiteboard Friday or anything. I just thought it'd be fun to share this with a video, but a lot quicker than writing out a whole post. And I hope you are enjoying it so far. But basically, if you type Facebook fave into Google, it's combining the spell correct with the implied site search, and that's why, another reason why we were getting that weird result. And you can go check out that post and get all the information if you didn't see that. So, why should we care about this? So this is interesting, and I think this is where search is moving towards, and it's all very fascinating. But what does it mean for us as SEOs or as site owners or business owners that are trying to just make our pages rank and perform well? And I think there's a few areas where this is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. So, first of all, why should we care? Well, it's been pointed out by Justin Briggs on his blog and many other sources that the long tail still makes up for 70% of searches on Google, or I'm not sure if that's on Google or the whole internet. I'm sure it means the whole internet. So what that means is long tail searches tend to represent more of these natural language or question type searches. So these are happening a lot, way more than just your short keyword type searches. And the other thing that was pointed out in the video in Justin's post, which you can see below, you should all watch that video in Justin's post about entity search results. It was pointed out that in the research that Google did, most of the time they found that people were doing their natural long tail language searches and abandoning those because they weren't getting the results they wanted. And that's one reason Google is attempting to try to adjust their algorithms around how we're naturally searching on the internet. They find that people aren't getting the results they want on the first or second search. So Google is trying to speed up how quickly we get what we're looking for. And that's one reason that they're working very hard on this type of stuff. And that leads into the second point here, is that the natural language queries happen very often. And I kind of just talked about that before I mentioned the bullet point there. Sorry about that. But so basically, we should care because people are searching like this on the internet all of the time, and Google is trying to get this right. So I believe that we're going to see Google doing better with these types of results as we go on. Now finally, what should I do about it? And I think to answer this, it really depends on the type of site you have or the type of entity that that site represents. So for example, if you're an author, you're going to do a lot different things than if you are a restaurant, right? We all know that local search was kind of the primitive or one of the first places that actually Google was doing entity type search results. So for example, if you're a local restaurant or a local business, you obviously wanted to have your name, address, and phone numbers cited in a lot of places around the internet. And as Justin points out as well, it's not necessarily just hyperlinks. It's those citations that really help boost you in the local results. And so that's a lot different though if you're an author. You know, if you're an author, you definitely want to be doing things like building up your Google Plus profile, all your social network profiles. That certainly goes into play if you're any type of person, not just an author. And I think one thing that can cover everybody in general is to not be generic. You know, as Rand points out all the time, you don't want to be, you know, shoes hyphen sneakers hyphen socks.com or, you know, .net or whatever. That's a very generic type of site, and it doesn't represent a brand or something with authority and that might have trust to it. So certainly if you're new, if you have a new business and you're picking out trying to pick out a new domain name, I would certainly advise you to pick something out that is not generic. And I think that advice has been given out a lot in the last few years. So finally, for many types of businesses, you can add yourself to some of these sources of information that Google is pulling into their tables for their entities. So definitely, you know, if it makes sense for you to have a Wikipedia page, you should definitely do that. You want to try to get links from within Wikipedia and outside of Wikipedia to your Wikipedia page. And that will help boost your trust within Wikipedia. One thing that I have been sort of going back and forth with but have not actually tried yet, but I'd like to very soon, is to start adding things to Freebase. And I think that's one thing that you should all consider doing. You should look up your brand or your business or whatever it may be in Freebase, see if you're in there. And if you are, maybe you want to enhance your profile, correct some information. But if you're not, I would definitely add yourself in there. And one interesting side note to that is that in this related search operator, Mike King pointed out to me in my post on that SEOmoz.org returns results in the related search operator, but distilled.net does not, my website does not, and I don't think his website does either. But if you go to Freebase, SEOmoz has a Freebase listing. Distilled does not, I do not, and I'm pretty sure Mike King does not. Now, I don't know if this is a causation or correlation or what exactly is happening here, but I highly suspect that, like I said before, this related search operator function has a lot to do with these entity type results. And then lastly, and again, I apologize if you can't quite read the board, I'm going to have everything down below and some links and things like that. What I would do is ask yourself first, what type of entity am I, or what type of entity is my website representing? And then what I would do is look to other sites that represent those same types of entities. If you're an author or an actor or singer, look at other websites that tend to do very well, or maybe are returning related search operator results, and see what types of citations they have around the internet. See where Freebase is getting information for them around the internet, and see if those are places that you can then go and add yourself easily to hopefully boost up your entity type results. So I hope this video wasn't very too long for you and that it was of use. It was my first video, so I have to admit I was a little bit nervous. I hope it went well. I hope I explained things clearly enough. and I'm going to be doing a lot more videos to come, and I hope to see some of you guys. Let's see, I'm going to be at SES New York in March. I'm going to be attending Link Love in Boston in April, so I hope to see some of you guys around at the conferences and events and things like that. Thanks again to Mike King for letting me do a guest post on his blog, and thanks again to Bill at SEO by the Sea and Justin for kind of really helping to push some of this information out there about the entity search results. So this has been fun. Thanks, guys.